Yeah. Wait, should we record this? Because I saw this on my feed and I was going to leave a comment and I saw your comment on it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't even end up leaving my comment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing towards those big vision board business goals.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast. You always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeline Daigan. And this is
hashtag
managed. I think it's perfect.
I like it. I like it. If you guys listen to our rebrand episode that we launched at the start of April, then surprise, just kidding. You know, we rebranded hashtag manage and social savvy, but we wanted to do like a recap of like the rebrand relaunch month because so many things went down. Like again, we spent months and months prior to this, but this month was like full. Like we're still having like lingering conversations about it. And if you're new, then I think this episode can still really give a lot of really good takeaways around like doing a rebrand or launching because we learned a lot. We did some like really unique things. And so, yeah, I feel like let's kick it off with let's talk about hashtag manage. I mean, you're listening to this podcast right now. So if you're new or if you've been here for like 4 cover arts ago, 2 cover arts ago, 1, whatever.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments of this.
How long have you been here for? Have you been here for the pre
Just
Babby
Jessica?
days?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are so many different eras that we've had of the podcast. And I think that this rebrand finally like embodies everything. But again, let's talk about the launch of the rebrand. So this was something that we had, again, we've been planning beyond just the visual identity of the brand. And a piece of that was how are we going to launch that to everyone? Like, how are we going to get them excited? So, Maddie, I feel like take this part away because you did so much on social and email, like easing into the rebrand for the podcast.
Yeah. So I think when we, no, not I think, I know, when we decided we were going to rebrand, we had introduced multiple covers, like new covers, but we wanted this one to be very different. And knowing that we were rebranding, like not just like, oh, new cover art, like full, like new logo, new everything, we decided to archive everything on Instagram.
Yeah,
and then everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would scare a majority of people. And what's funny is I actually a few weeks ago, I can't remember the social media, it was a social media manager who posted it, and I think the text over the reel was like that urge to delete or archive anything, and I commented and I was like, oh, but we did, and I think some of the fears around that in the past, maybe even for both of us, would have been like losing followers, like what is it going to do to the algorithm? Because you all, the gurus out there will tell you not to delete things. To that I say,
I think myth busting.
If anything, I think it's going to help you in the sense that we did it in a dramatic way. So we archived it all like overnight and then went to the stories to be like, now I'm like, might confuse the two, but so let me just kind of go back and forth between the two. So we also archived everything on Social Savvy. That one took longer, and luckily we have an amazing coworker, Kayla, who did that for us.
Yes, shout out to Kayla. There were thousands.
And with that strategy, we were going to try and play the whole like April Fool's prank and say like Instagram deleted everything and posting that to the story. That's going to be like, and what's funny is even Amanda, who we talk about all the time on this podcast and had her on the podcast earlier this year, she messaged me. I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but she was like, I thought you guys got hacked. And like, I had to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
I did
again, so it was working. It was working in our favor. And so we made a few reels for Social Savvy to get people's attention to our goal was to get them to our profiles. Be like, whoa, because our 14.7 thousand followers, they've also Social Savvy has gone through multiple rebrands as well. And yeah, the followers, the 14.7 thousand followers, there's people who were there. Me, hi, I'm one of Jess's like OGs who like when she started it and like, you know, where has seen like, I think when I was looking through our archived messages for #manage, like to post like our love story or our meet cute. And I think one of the, like, I found one that was like, oh, I love the, like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, love the rebrand. So, like, you know, I've seen a few of hers or of Social Savvy's.
Yeah.
And so bringing it back to, so we did the dramatic, like, archiving everything. Personally, I think that's going to, again, myth busting that if you delete a post, so be it. It's not gonna end the world. It's not going to.
Yeah, I think it was just like the fresh slate that we needed for both. More so for like Social Savvy. Like it's been through several rebrands. #manage just because we wanted to do something fun and bold. Like we have a new fun, bold brand, but it's a clean slate. And honestly, like looking at our data since everything, way, way, way up. Like our engagement is way higher, like on both. Like I know we just hit like the 500 milestone on #manage, which is super exciting. Like we're hitting like engagement milestones on Social Savvies in general, which I think is just a long time coming. Like we're up 37% since the start of April. I just had to like pull that up in real time. And like I gotta give the people like a real number versus like, believe me, we're high. We're doing good. Like our engagement's high. So up 35% like since doing it. And honestly, like just yeah, so great to have like a fresh start of like here's who we are, you know? Like so very bold and honestly let it take permission slip to do it too.
I also think by doing that, it showed us too, like, this is 2025, people. We can't keep doing it's been a while since I've introduced myself. Here are 10 fun facts about me. Like, you gotta like grab their attention, right? Grab it. And so that was the way we were like, let's do it. I think this is, and I think too, you know, like by being that dramatic, it re-engages people who have followed us, but again, the algorithm is still working, you know, where it's like, so we have to work overtime to kind of like almost like trick the algorithm, dare I say.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what socials, I feel like that was a big part of our strategy behind the social content. And again, we are, yes, of course, reintroducing ourselves in the team. And that's, I will say, like from the outsider looking in for Social Savvy too, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jess, but like where I was like, okay, we need to do more about like showing the team. Not that you had it in the past, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say is like we're reintroducing the team, but like we're honestly kind of just introducing the team, to be honest. Like, because I have to say, like, it really speaks to, I know I always preached on this podcast, or if anyone ever asked me, like, what do you bode to success? Consistency. Because you know why? You know how I know it's consistency? My name we've talked about this. I will forever be at Social Savvy HQ. People know that as Jess. And I do not post on stories. I do not post a lot on feed. So it's just so hilarious that it's like people do know. you know?
And it's funny because you always have credited that you have a team. You've never been like, it's just me, it's just the Jess show. Like, you've been like, I have a team.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just something like I've always applauded too, because yes, there are the social media managers out there who, and like, again, the Buzzing Blonde was always me. There was never a team,
Right.
unfortunately. It was just me. I had interns, but again, when I had interns, I made sure to be like, here's my intern.
Right.
Yay.
Right. Yes, you were. Yeah.
But okay, and then I will say, like, one of the last things when it came to the socials too, like, part of the strategy, and I think we did touch on this in the first, like our hard launch episode, was that I even approached you and was like, what do you think about doing a feed of all black and white? Because again, when I got the brief, let's just say, you know, where I knew we were going for the old money aesthetic, country club, and for whatever reason in my brain, I was like, black and white pictures. And it's also not something you see. And where I got that idea from, this is one of my most proud, and I'm going to give her a shout out on this, but my wedding photographer. So my wedding photographer, Marissa, who I love, she is so talented, love her to this day. I want to do like so many other photo shoots with her. And this was like, so when did I get married? 2021, right? And so I even approached her in the same way. I was like, what if you do, because it's something that was constantly coming up when I'd meet with her, is like, how do I set myself apart? How do I set myself apart from all these other wedding photographers? And I was like, what if you did a feed in just black and white? But then, like, as you, like, you can see, because, so when I first gave her that idea, that was scared, a little bit scared, because she's like, I don't want people thinking I just do black and white. Like, I do color photos too. And I'm like, yes, but tell me if I'm wrong. But like, and this was conversation we had. I was like, people who are drawn to black and white images, though, that is her vibe. Like, that is like, that's an aesthetic in itself. But so like, that's their first impression, right, of her Instagram profile when they come. But as you go deeper, as you would a photographer, I think we all go down rabbit holes. Like, you are going deep into their feeds, like when you're deciding whether or not to hire them for a wedding, and hopefully too, some of the photographers listening right now are getting some ideas. Maybe I'm getting some wheels turning in their head as well. But I told her too, I was like, you know, you could have each cover photo as a black and white, but then as you swipe, it's like you showcasing your color images as well. So very similar. And if you go to our feed, as you're listening to this, you'll see like we're carrying out that same aesthetic and vibe, but we still do have our pops of color. And we've only had one photo shoot this year, but we're due for our Q2 photo shoot soon. So I'm so excited for that, because I'm so excited. You guys aren't ready. You guys aren't ready. You are, but you aren't.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's so good. And I was telling this, like, a peek, like, last point on this, like, a peek into a call that Maddie and I had, like, a one-on-one a few weeks ago. I was like, you know, I have been creating more social savvy content than I ever have before. And it's so funny because I loved the idea, but then I'm not going to lie, like, in seeing the brand guidelines, I'm like, love it. Seeing the feed mock-up, love it. But then at some point, I can't pinpoint it, I was like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know. Not that I didn't love it, but like, I was like, I don't know if this is really getting across like what I want. But it's funny, I've been creating more and more pieces of content, and I told Maddie, I'm like, you know, I'm leaning towards the pops of color versus like full color, if that makes sense. Thinking of like a graphic. And it's so funny because like that is not typically like how I've like designed in the past, granted different brand. But yeah, so go at Social Savvy HQ on Instagram if you want to see that feed, because I think it just looks so great. Also, you know, shameless plug too, but tap the link in our bio, go to our website, because we carry that over, same thing on the website as well. Like, that's one thing too, you know, we thought really strategically around the social media presence for the brand, for the websites, for our email newsletters. If you haven't signed up for any of our newsletters, please let us know. DM us on #manage if you're, let us know you want to join the newsletter. And tell us, are you a social media manager or a small business owner? And we'll put you on the right spot. But like, those have been such a big work in progress too, to like really iterate them into newsletters like we want to open and read. And so we're super happy with that. But I want to say to this as well, like, we've talked so much lately about like branding and visual identity, but we've thought way more into the rebrands than just how are things going to look? Like, how are they going to feel? Like, we got very deep in this. And I think that's like what we wanted to share going beyond the visual identity as well.
And I think you, like, that's how you elevate a brand, you know, where let this be, what are the words? Like, let this be, I'm not good with words, but what I'm trying to get across is Jessica and I, we've been at this together since 2018. I paid $500 for my first logo. Because my graphic design background, I just knew that's where I wanted to put my money. Also, like, some of you guys might be like, oh my gosh, $500. Like, that is crazy expensive. To me, that is so cheap. And even to this day, I'm like, that is so cheap. If you can find somebody who gives you a few, like, because I got a primary, secondary, and obviously they gave me my brand colors. Like, it was a small thing. But I loved that logo so much. But my point to all of that is you're gonna evolve. Your brand is gonna evolve. And if right now you're like if you're in that comparison game, because we all fall into it, but like, let's say you're like even looking at our brand and are like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so jealous. Two things can be true at once. Like, I've definitely been, when I've seen people's rebrands, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that, you know?
Yeah.
But my point is you're going to evolve, and like with each evolution of your brand, like, it's only going to get better. So like, when we tell you this brand guide, and I've made multiple brand guides, this one because I think it also, since it's like my business bestie, I was like, we are fine tuning it to the point of like, what emojis do we use? What font do we use in the Instagram stories for each brand? And that is so, to me, that is so important, because it's all about what Jessica was saying, the feeling that you want to spark when somebody comes to your feed, when they come across your website, when they come across that email newsletter. And I agree with, like, I hope you guys do, if you are listening, that you do, as you're listening to this, kind of take a peek at the website, at the Instagram, and hopefully you are subscribed to the newsletters, because you will see, like, I'm so proud of that. I am so proud of all these brands, because to me, if you're even struggling right now of like understanding branding, or, you know, you like want to take it to that next step, like, use us as examples. Like, that's the best way I can say, because I think that's a good, like, take a peek. We are here being like, go creep, like, be our stalkers, like, go take a peek. Like, we are the ones who, okay, maybe don't copy us, but like,
right. Yeah. we're opening up a few can of worms there, but
right. Yeah. Hopefully you know what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to look at our paper, you know, like, we're okay if you look at our paper.
Yeah.
I think that's a good analogy. I don't know.
Yeah. And too, like, you know, I think like, in addition to that, like Maddie said, these brand decks, like, they're working files in Canva for us. Like, at this point moving forward, like, we are like fine tuning like the platforms that we're marketing on. Like, and again, it's like, yeah, that plays into the brand strategy, but like going deeper in like our brand voice, like, for example, for Social Savvy, we're really elevating our messaging, because we can't have fun, playful BFF messaging that we had before. So I don't know a better way to describe it than that.
Yeah, no.
But like, now we're going into more sophisticated. Like, we work with clients in a more sophisticated way than ever before. And I just know month after month, we're going to keep like iterating that. So thinking about what our website copy looks like, how we write captions, like how our bio reads, so different than ever before. And I think the other part to that too is like our processes have changed. We onboard clients in 2025 way different than we've ever onboarded them before. You guys know me, I'm a systems nerd, even though I'm a marketer, but like I'm a business owner and team leader, so like I have to be. And I'm always constantly thinking, like, we just had a conversation in Slack around, again, I don't want to say problem, but like small issue that kind of arose with like some content that we had delivered to us from a client, and we were passing it off member to team member, and small issue, and I'm like, you know what, we're gonna fix that. Like, we're gonna fix this because we are now country club level of service for clients. Now, granted, will the client ever know, because this is a behind the scenes kind of fix, but like, you know, if it's something that helps like just make the experience better for our team, for our clients, like that's what we're also up leveling in the rebrand too. So I feel like that plays into like what you don't see. And I think for that note on the podcast, like, how many times have we talked on a planning call? Who is our audience? Who are they? What do they want to hear? Like, we will keep having this conversation because one, we really want to know like who you guys are. So Maddie and I aren't just sitting here rambling in your AirPods every single week, but we're like really giving great content. We're, you know, now we're doing crazy things. We're pitching guests and they're saying yes, and they're pitching us and we're saying yes. And like, so we just want to know who our audience is. We have some sponsorship talks in the works. So like so many different things that without knowing our audience and without going through this new up level rebrand, we would have never known any of these things. So I feel like, again, those are all behind the scenes things that I think we just needed to shed some light on.
Okay, I think I want to add one last comment because I feel like I don't have anything. I feel like we did a good job of like recapping the rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
But on the note of who our audience is, again, I want to give you guys like a sneak peek. Like, this was a conversation that Jessica and I literally had just before we hit record for our podcast planning meeting. And like Jessica said, I'm so excited for some of these guests who are going to be on. I'm not like, I don't want to give this Easter egg. Actually, I do, but like the Easter egg being and who our audience is friends, like best friends who have started businesses together and are doing cool things together. And so I think on that note, if you are a listener and you and your best friend are doing some cool things, pitch us. Yeah. Pitch us. You don't have to me. I don't think like, yes, this is a podcast. It will always be a podcast for social media managers and marketers first. I know that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, our Jessica and I's meet cute, like, to me, that is what sets us apart. And we both know that. We've said that. That is the content that hasn't made us viral yet. But I know it will. Yeah. Like, I know it will. Because our story is really cool, in my opinion. So, with all of that being said, if you and your best friend are doing some cool things, pitch us, DM us. I want to know. We want to know. We want to highlight you. So, yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
I don't. Let's end on a high note because I'm like, that's so good. Yes, send it in. Okay. You know, and it makes me so excited for what's to come in the next couple of weeks on the podcast. I know that's so annoying. I have to call that out. Like, you know what I mean? You're watching something, you're like, I can't tell you what I'm building, but it's going to be great. But at least we gave, like, Maddie really gave a great Easter egg around what's to come.
There's a few in this. If go back, listen to the on our feed, that one's going to give a lot of hints.
Yes. Yeah. A lot coming down the pipeline. So, really excited for that. And yeah, we've had so many great pieces of feedback like around everyone who has like perceived the brand and experienced it on social, email, newsletter, obviously here in your podcast player. So yeah, really love your feedback. Always. And maybe I'll end us with saying, you know what? Leave us a review. I think we need some new reviews. Okay? Yes. You know what? We need some new reviews. Can you help us out? Take 2 minutes after this episode ends and leave us a review. We would love you forever. We'll probably pop in your inbox saying thank you, but yeah, thank you. That's one quick thing you can do today to make two people very happy.
Yeah. We will catch you next week on the airways.
Being a social media manager can feel like folding a fitted sheet while you're trying to explain at the family reunion what it is you actually do online, but you don't have to do it alone. The hashtag Managed Collective Mentorship is your weekly dose of business strategy, advice, and let's be honest, therapy. Grab your lunch, hop on our weekly lunch break coaching calls with myself and Maddie, and let's figure out how to thrive in this wild social media management world. Sign up now at hashtagmanaged.com/mentorship. Use code MANAGED for 20% off your mentorship. That's MANAGED. Join us now at hashtagmanaged.com/mentorship. We'll see you there at the next lunch break therapy sesh. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, I think we've officially become internet besties. You can always call into the hashtag hotline and say hello, leave a review, or ask your burning questions.
Make sure you follow, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're listening from. Subscribe to the Social Club newsletter for our weekly email, and shoot us a DM over at hashtag Managed on Instagram, letting us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode.